Ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, civic and veterans groups in Bowie, Maryland gather on Memorial Day and Veterans Day annually to commemorate and celebrate those who served, those who continue to serve, and to honor and mourn those who have passed and those who sacrificed their lives in the service of our nation. These ceremonies have historically been led by local veteran service organizations, including the Disney Bell Post of the American Legion, the Omaha Beach chapter of the Disabled American Veterans, the Free State Marine Detachment of the Marine Corps League, and the Bowie Memorial Post of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Given the circumstances generated by the current pandemic, the 2020 City of Bowie Memorial Day ceremony has been postponed indefinitely. Yet, those same area veterans and civic organizations recognize their duty to honor and mourn in an appropriate manner our brothers and sisters who sacrificed their lives in service of the nation.
Town! Attention! Town! Adjutant's call! Down to the colors!
Hello, I'm Commandant Jerry George of the Free State Detachment of the Marine Corps League. We are here today to pay our respects to those who made the supreme sacrifice in the service of their nation. This day was first observed in 1868 when General John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, designated May 30th as the day on which to honor Union soldiers who had fallen in battle. The day was later changed to the last Monday in May. This year we find ourselves in somewhat unique circumstances, though. Many of us remain physically distant from each other due to the pandemic and quarantining. Nonetheless, though, the Free State Detachment and the other Bowie Veteran Service organizations invite you to share a short time remembering.
O God, our refuge and strength, in this place of unrelenting light and noise, enfold us in your holy darkness and silence, that we may rest secure under the shadow of your wings. Amen.
For many Americans, particularly we who are affiliated with the DAV, the Marine Corps League, the American Legion, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Memorial Day is a time we remember those who have sacrificed for our nation, who forever have changed, and whose lives were cut short as a result of that service. After nearly two decades of bloodshed in places like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and now parts of Africa, we have to be concerned that our citizens may have become somewhat numb to war. But make no mistake about it, Americans are still fighting and giving their lives so that freedom will ring. There were 22 American service members killed in Afghanistan last year, but 22 is just a number, a figure. It doesn't begin to describe those individuals who can no longer speak for themselves. It's up to us to keep their memories alive. Army Sergeant James Johnston, an explosive ordnance disposal soldier, is one of those 22 who died. He died in Afghanistan last June, leaving behind a wife who was expecting a little girl. We remember and honor you, Sergeant Johnson, today and every day. Thank you. In March of this year, 2 Marines lost their lives in Iraq while battling Islamic State fighters in the mountainous caves. Both joined in 2004. They only knew the Marine Corps during a time of war. On the day they died, they were encouraged to, in a fight so intense and remote that it took 6 hours to recover the fallen Marines. We remember and honor Gunnery Sergeant Diego Pongo and Captain Moses Naves, both Special Operations Marines. Today and every day we thank you. It is up to us to keep the memories of those selfless heroes alive. Heroes like Senior Chief Petty Officer Shannon Kent, who in 2019 became the first female sailor killed in battle against the Islamic State. She perished in a suicide attack in northern Syria. A New York native, Kent was due to earn a doctorate in clinical psychology when she was sent on her 5th combat deployment. We want to remember you, Senior Chief Kent. Today and every day, we thank you. We are all duty-bound to remember our fallen, to tell their stories, and to care for their families who need our support when struck by unfathomable loss. Today is for them. We remember your sacrifice, we honor it, and we offer our humble thanks.
2020 has been like no other year in America. The coronavirus has changed our way of life and sadly taken the lives of many of our loved ones. But we continue to remain strong as a country, and we will make it through this pandemic just as we've done through other conflicts. That is why it's important this weekend to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country, the soldiers and sailors who put themselves in harm's way to protect the very freedom under which we live today. While we cannot gather together this year for our annual Memorial Day ceremony, let's just take a moment out of our busy schedule and quietly thank our military heroes that have been laid to rest.
Greetings. I'm Delegate Ron Watson, and I want to wish all of our servicemen and women a happy Memorial Day. The history of Memorial Day dates back to 1868, on the first Decoration Day, as it was then called. A crowd of 5,000 gathered at Arlington National Cemetery, and before they spread flowers on the graves of the 20,000 soldiers buried there, James A. Garfield, who later became our 20th president, addressed them by saying, "And now consider this silent assembly of the dead. What does it represent? If each grave had a voice to tell us what his silent tenant last saw and heard on earth, we might hear the whole story of the war." Today, over 400,000 of our honored dead grace the hills of Arlington Cemetery from every conflict in American history. Hundreds and thousands more are buried around the world. All gave their last full measure of devotion for this country. Memorial Day is a chance to remember their bravery, to remember their loss and valor, and to remember why those of us who served chose to do so. For this, our community of Bowie, Memorial Day is a true day of remembrance. The fallen are our friends, family members, and neighbors. We pay tribute to their service, and we honor their memory so that their sacrifice will not be forgotten. As we remember those who have fallen, let us also honor those who remain and continue to fight on in defense of our freedom. Happy Memorial Day. Hua.
Hi, I'm Delegate Geraldine Valentino Smith, and welcome to my living room this Memorial Day. I want to thank the local veterans organizations for putting together this opportunity for a virtual celebration. And on Memorial Day, it is important that we take time to reflect on those that deserve our everlasting gratitude. Although we might not be able to engage in our traditional picnics, parades, and celebrations, it is important that today we take time to remember those who have given their lives and fought for us to maintain our freedom. There's nothing more noble than giving one's life for our country and for its people. And in the midst of this pandemic, I ask that we take a minute to remember those who have lost their lives in the fight against COVID, those on the front line, our essential workers, doctors, nurses, firemen, healthcare personnel, nursing home providers, and those trying to maintain our food chain. They've learned from our brave men and women in the military the lesson of John F. Kennedy, to ask not what their country can do for them, but what they can do for their country. And so, my friends, on this Memorial Day, we've seen a lot of tragedy. We've seen a lot of economic hardship. We've seen a lot of housing and food insecurity. But we have seen glimpses of hope and goodness as people reach out to help one another. And so this Memorial Day, let's continue to help our neighbors. Let's continue to practice social distancing and stay safe. And let's know that one day soon, we'll be together to celebrate Memorial Day with a picnic, a parade, and a ceremony.
For many of us, Memorial Day marks the start of summer. It is usually a relaxing day off to spend precious time with friends, family, and neighbors around the backyard grill. Memorial Day is also the day we as the country come together to honor and remember our servicemen and women who have answered America's call to service and paid the ultimate price. Memorial Day is the time for Americans as one body to stand up and say, thank you. We remember you. We are grateful to you. We remember our fallen. This year, Memorial Day looks very different than the celebrations of years past. But although we may not be outside taking part in the Remembrance ceremony at Veterans Park or watching our annual parade go down Bel Air Drive, or enjoying time together with our extended family and circle of friends, the importance of this holiday remains the same. It's especially important during this time of isolation and uncertainty that we honor the legacy of those lost by caring for those left behind. So please, spend some extra time with your loved ones. Perhaps reach out to those we can't be with. And please, postpone that big gathering until it is safe to do so. I ask you to step back from the daily stresses and reflect on your freedoms that so many of our sons and daughters died to protect, and to remember why we have the luxury and freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you, and may God bless and keep our fallen, our veterans and active military, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ingrid Harrison, Council Member at Large for the great city of Bowie. As the granddaughter of an original Tuskegee Airman, I am honored and proud to wish all the veterans of Bowie, Prince George's County, and nationwide a happy Memorial Day. Thank you for your service. All gave some, and some gave all. I salute you.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life.
Honoring all who served as we celebrate Memorial Day, May 25th, 2020. I think it's very appropriate that we not stop doing the celebrations and the honoring of our fallen heroes because of this pandemic.
Hi, my name is Cadet Lieutenant Commander Jeremiah Molden of the Bowie and Gerald Kingston Battalion. Memorial Day to me is the end of the year, so we thank those who have lost their lives protecting and providing the liberties that we enjoy. It is an honor to continue their legacy.
Hi, my name is Petty Officer First Class Donald Starling. I'm one of the two Navy Science instructors at Bowie High School in the JROTC program. Here to say a little bit about what Memorial Day means to me. Memorial Day means a lot because one of the ships I was on, the USS Cole, PDT 67, was the same ship that was hit during October 12th of 2000, which lost 17 of my shipmates. And just remembering them this coming Monday means a lot because this coming October will be the 20th anniversary of the coal bombing. I did have a great uncle who stormed the beaches of Normandy on June 6th and was wounded and later died a couple of days later and is buried in France. But Memorial Day is just that, remembering those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for this country. I try to teach that to my kids, or my kidettes, I should say.
The men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Bowie High School,
An American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across